this week we've got Barry with us. What I'm going to ask him is what we discussed a little bit last week. If you had a choice, Barry, between PS5 and Xbox One Series X, which one would you choose?
I don't know why you're asking me that question because you know exactly what I'm going to say.
Well, you tell the audience. You tell the audience, Barry.
Why would I choose a PS5?
You tell me.
Because of rubbish.
It's why is it rubbish?
Xbox loyal fan. You know I am.
You're an Xbox loyal fan.
I'll never change.
But there's nothing on the PS. Yeah, but you had a PS3 before, didn't you?
It's play one game.
What, The Last of Us?
Yeah.
So
And then I sold it to you.
That is correct. That is correct. You did sell it to me, but you would not get a PS5.
No. Nope. Then again, it's down to preference, isn't it? You know, it's
okay.
I've always had Xbox since day one. Since the first ever console I had was an Xbox. So
yeah, that's what. Well, yeah, it's a bit like what Josh said, but pretty much. Is there anything then on the PS5 that excites you that you would wish that's on the Xbox One Series X? If you was gonna say, if you had a choice and you're like, oh, I really would like that, but you know, because I'm a loyal fan, I can't have it. But I would.
I'm
really
not saying
like
I'll
that.
never get. I'm never saying I'm going to never get a PS5 because you might do. But again, Last of Us 2.
Yeah, that's another discussion. We'll probably get onto that at some point.
Luckily, I actually haven't seen the leaks yet.
No, that's the thing. So about that then, Barry.
Yeah. So can we start? Can we just start? I knew I was going to say something before we started. We are going to discuss The Last of Us 2 leaks, but we will not be discussing the leaks themselves. There will not be any spoilers.
I actually tried finding it, and I couldn't even find it.
So we're discussing the leak itself. Tommy has a particular question he wants to ask, and that's what we're going to talk about. But that'll be a little bit later. But carry on with where you were.
No, that's fine. So you would absolutely say if everyone was hyping up the PS5 and like the exclusives were amazing and Xbox weren't doing well, you would still go for Xbox, Barry?
Yeah, definitely.
Even if Halo was just terrible and it was just...
Still Xbox.
Yeah. It's ecosystems, though, isn't it? If you've already got a Game Pass from the Xbox One, you're going to carry that over to the Xbox Series bloody X.
But then again, it's the same with PS5 players and PS4. They're not going to switch over to an Xbox because the amount of money I've invested in my Xbox or all my digital games and everything are going to follow me.
Yeah, but the argument is like you said before with the PS3. It's like you picked up a PS3 just to play The Last of Us. Would you pick up a PS5 just to play that one game?
Yeah, I probably would do, but when it's like super cheap. I got a fat 60 gig PS3 for like probably 50 quid from game. So if I can do that, I'll be happy.
Yeah, that's exactly what I did. You know, car boot sale, 30 quid for a PlayStation 3. And then CX, like, what, 3 quid, 7 quid for The Last of Us? And that's like the only game I own for the PlayStation PS3, I believe it's called. The one that I've got.
It is indeed.
Barry's is the PlayStation 3.
You know, if you're a PlayStation person as well.
Well, no.
How you name it?
No, was there ever a PlayStation 4? I don't think there was.
Well, everyone just calls it a PS4.
No, but you see, PlayStation was the original square box. I've got one of those in the other room. The PS1 was the smaller, curvy one.
That's
right. The PlayStation 2 was
the bigger fat.
It's in the other room. It's the big fat one with the motorized drive. The PS2 Slim is obviously the smaller one. PlayStation 3 was the Spider-Man one. PS3 was all the ones afterwards. But the PS4 is just all of them are the PS4. There's no PlayStation 4.
What about the PlayStation 2 TV?
Did we have that? Oh,
We-
did we have that in this country?
I don't think we had it in this country, but I think it was made in like America or Japan.
No, but I
And
would say that should be a Japanese thing.
It could play DVDs and PS2 games, and I think they like
Yeah,
They-
that's what you mean.
I think they don't work very well. They can break very easily.
Was it LCD or CRT?
I think it was CRT, if I remember rightly.
Yeah, I don't think it makes sense to make it LCD.
Bravia TV with built-in PlayStation 2 control.
It was some years ago. This is like 2004-05. This is when they were coming out with a PS2 Slim.
Do you know, it actually looks like a 22-inch Bravia. Looks like a LCD.
I will say, though, probably the best thing for PlayStation 2 was the eye camera.
We never
The
had
eye-
one of them.
I only used that a few
2
times.
eye cam. That was meant. Oh, it might have been PS. Is it PS3? It might have been. No,
It was a
PS2.
PS2. It was PS2, and then the PlayStation 3 had its updated one.
I do miss CRT monitor games and stuff because, like, House of Dead with a actual infrared gun pointing at the screen. That was amazing.
Yeah.
We've got one. We've got one in storage. We've got it's quite a big CRT telly, and we kept it just specifically for the N64, and I think that's the only one we got, the N64. Yeah, for playing those games.
Well, what about the PlayStation? You got a PlayStation?
Yeah, but the PlayStation looks fine on LCD on your normal telly. I'm not of the opinion that games look better or worse on CRT or LCD. I would just rather play them. But for what Barry said about like the light gun, you have to do it on a CRT because they don't work. There's not enough light emitted on LCDs for the gun sensor thing to pick up the aiming on it. So there's a reason you have to have a CRT. But for other games, I think it's fine to just enjoy it. And the other thing you can do. I'm surprised if you haven't done this, Tommy, is with all your Raspberry... You do Raspberry Pi emulator?
I used to. It's got really good recently.
They're really good recently. And they even do CRT filters. So they kind of adjust the colours or something, or make it slightly blurry or something to, I don't know, get nostalgia for the old CRT TVs. So if you want that, it's there now for the low price of a Raspberry Pi. And 7 hours of your life.
And I think like Sony tried to capitalize on that with the PlayStation Retro console. It wasn't very good though, was it?
Yeah, well, the Nintendo one was better.
Still selling like hotcakes though.
Yeah, I still bought mine for 40 quid, sold for 110.
Oh, gee. Whoa.
Scalper! Scalper!
Oh, we found him, guys. Let's get him. So, what would be your perfect setup then? Because I know that have you still got a Switch, Barry?
Yeah.
See, I had this question last week to Josh when I asked you this. How easy is it just to get on the Switch and start playing games?
I don't think you asked me that.
Well, I was suggesting.
What podcast was this?
I was suggesting in the last week's podcast is that it's hard sometimes just to get into the games and stuff, and with the Switch you can just chill out, relax with your family and stuff and play games instead of like if you play on the Xbox then you have to be on a dedicated TV somewhere and playing your games, where on the Switch you can still play it portably. You can take it, you can plug it into the like TV into the little stand box thing it's got, or you can just take it with you and just play games with your family and stuff. So how do you find that playing your Switch? Is it easy just to get into a game?
Well, with Switches, the whole point, I think, most developers, they just make a game what you can just jump into. It's a bit weird, really, because Nintendo's always treating that kind of thing where you can pick up, play 10, 15 minutes, put it down, pick up again whenever you want. I know what you mean. If you sit with an Xbox, you're starting to play an actual first-person shooter. You have to sit down and complete it and actually take time. But with a Switch, or Nintendo generally, pick it up, play for 20 minutes, put it down, come back, pick it up again. But the Switch is different because now they started adding first-person shooters, haven't they? So
Yeah, I mean, it all depends, doesn't it? Whether it's the first party or
Yeah.
third party games. Because I mean, like, I don't know, Breath of the Wild is sort of in the middle of the road there, isn't it? Because it's family friendly, but it's also not. You're still out there slashing rock monsters and all of that, but it's not Animal Crossing where you give someone a twig and they're really happy. But I don't know. I mean, yeah, that's the great thing about the Switch is that you can. It's handheld and it's on the telly, but it's better. It's better on the telly though.
Of
is.
course, it's better on TV. But say if you're with a family member or with a friend, and say if
I
they're
have
watching.
never kicked my wife off the telly when she's playing the Switch because I wanted to do something on the telly. I don't. That's not something. I know that's something Nintendo has said. Even when they had the Wii U, they said, "Oh, if someone's watching the telly, you can take the handheld bit and go play the same game in another room." I've never done that. I'll just go in here or go in the bedroom and watch something on another screen, or just watch her play Animal Crossing for a whole hour. It's waste of time, waste of my life. Hate that game.
Well, okay, we got that out there. Great, fantastic.
What's wrong with Animal Crossing?
What is wrong
Excuse
with
me?
Animal Crossing? Yeah, what is wrong with Animal Crossing?
Well,
One island per Switch, right?
We don't want to upset anyone.
No. 50 quid, 49.99 for a stupid game where you get where one island per Switch. So if you've got 2 kids, or I don't know, husband and wife, right? We have to have 2 Switches to play our own games.
No, because you make different profiles on the Switches.
We've got different profiles on the Switches. I play on mine, she plays on hers. But if we both launched a game, we go into her island, and I can't do things as me because she's already done them. We can only have 1 money tree per day. We can only have 1 fossil per day. It's not, I can't.
You know what about Animal Crossing when you don't like it?
You need to buy a new Switch.
And the whole fact that it's real time as well.
Oh yeah,
just,
that's
so
not a good sight.
So what you were saying earlier about picking up for 10 minutes, putting it down, picking up for 10 minutes, that is exactly what Nintendo want you to do. Because Jen picked it up last night, having not played for something like 25 hours because she'd played it Monday lunchtime, then she played it Tuesday evening. And because she'd not played for over 24 hours, she had missed some of her daily tasks. And she's missing on her Nook Miles, and I don't know, because I don't actually play it. I just watch the game and get frustrated by watching it. But just the way the game plays annoys me. And and I like puns and I like jokes, but oh man, they're just bad.
Hold on. Where's my violin? I'll go and find it. Give me a second.
Oh no! Don't play for me, Tommy, because I'm not actually playing. I'm not playing the game, so I really don't care. It's just paid a lot of money, and if you had 2 or 3 kids, you'd be having fights because they wouldn't all be able to play it at the same time. And then turnip lady showing up on a Sunday morning, that's useless to us at church.
Yeah. Well, it is kind of annoying because some games are like that where they have 1 save per game.
Are they?
Can you not just change the clock?
You can change the clock, but that screws over everything else.
Oh, okay.
We see Red Dead annoyed me, right? Because Red Dead, the first one, Red Dead Redemption, had 3 save slots. And the only way to get around that was to use, like you said, Barry, a different profile. So if you have a different gamer profile, then you have another 3. So if you're like me, I like to play through, but I don't like to delete old saves because I tend to do the first playthrough, which I kind of go through. The second playthrough I'll do using guides, and I'll get like the most money in like Red Dead or GTA, or I'll do everything really methodical. And then I'll have a third playthrough a couple of years later where I'm like evil and not bothering about high honor or doing anything. I'm just going in there doing that one for fun or whatever. And then when you're limited with only 3 save games, because I also in GTA what I do is I create a new save game for like every 10 missions I do. So if I want to, I could go back to a particular part of the game, even once I get to if I'm like 100% completed, I could go back to a 40% completed save. And you just can't do that in Red Dead because there's not enough save game profiles. So the fact that Nintendo It's one island per device, not per profile. One island per device. It just rubs me the wrong way.
Maybe we should send out a tweet or something to Nintendo to get this sorted out. Maybe we can.
They've done it on purpose.
Well, I don't know. Nintendo are a family-friendly company, Josh. Come on now.
I don't know what you're trying to say. Like,
Well, they're a fan.
they're a fan of money, and that's what they want. They want people to spend £450 on a new Switch with Animal Crossing. Did you buy one?
No, who, me? I haven't. No,
Yeah.
I haven't. No, I haven't got money like that. Pay for a Switch. No, I should have got it when it first came out, but everyone was like, should I get this or not? I'm not really sure because the Wii U wasn't very good. And then the people who have jumped on it are getting the benefits, where the people who haven't jumped on it, it's ridiculous money. Like we said last week, it's like £430, wasn't it? Just to get the Switch and the Animal Crossing. That's a lot of money.
Switch has done as well because, we've only got one TV, and having a Switch, it does help. I wish I could get my Xbox games on a handheld like that. Even if it was streaming.
You can.
Well,
you will do.
I know,
soon.
but you can use the online thing, but the latency is rubbish.
Well, it's still beta stage.
Yeah.
Yeah, mate, you're a fanboy of Xbox. You're meant to be.
Yeah, I've got it. I've played it.
You can be a fan of something and recognise the flaws of something, especially when it's not even released.
Yeah.
And plus, generally, remote playing games is never going to work.
No?
Don't say never, but...
Yeah, well, yeah. It's going to be a long way away.
Now you've opened a can of worms.
No, I'm on eBay. Nintendo Switch with Splatoon 2 and, I don't know, some other game. 20 minutes left, 290 quid.
That's not bad.
Reserve not met.
That's just silly.
That just shows that they're being greedy.
I got a second-hand one for 200.
200? Oh, gee.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I think I was getting mine just before the light came out. So I kind of got to the market where they were, that's going to be, rubbish now. So
yeah, I think ours was like 280 or 329 with, what did it come with? With Mario Kart or something. So that was like with one game. 290. I know this has got two games in it, but 290 because they're not even high price games. They're just doing this because they know they can make more than 300 quid.
Yeah, it's sad for people like me, I suppose, who haven't got one. That probably do want one.
Anyway, getting back to the subject, what are you getting anyway from me?
Sorry?
Are you getting a PS5 or are you getting Xbox?
Oh, no, I actually answered this last week. If you actually tuned into last week's podcast.
Mate, some people are busy having to work 5 days a week.
So the Xbox One Series X, I'm probably looking to get if I have enough money because of the backwards compatibility, because of Game Pass, and technically it's the most powerful console spec-wise compared to the PS5, where the big selling point of the PS5 is the exclusives, of course, and the SSD, and like Josh said last week, the audio sound.
But that's important because it's got the VR on it.
Yeah.
I don't think it really matters. I think it just comes down to controller choice and games, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think, again, when we've been playing these consoles for ages, you set your standard of what you're getting. Again, it's like saying that, would you want to buy a Mac or would you want to buy a PC? Yeah, it's...
PC.
I don't think it's like that because Mac or PC is such a stupid question because they're not actually that similar. Not in the way, but not in the way that Xbox and PS5 are.
Yeah, but I'm saying if you've been using something for ages, same as like Camex, it's the same thing. If you've always been loyal to a car maker and you know that they work and that's what you like, it's not that. Yeah, another car might be cheaper, it might be more powerful, but you'll be happy with a model of car you've always used. I probably will get a PS5 at one point, but I think I'll always, and again, everyone I usually play games with, are on Xbox as well.
Yeah, that's a huge thing as well, isn't it? I mean, I don't actually pay for Game Pass. No, what's it called? Gold.
Yeah,
I've never paid for gold. I've only ever paid for Game Pass when it's like the £1 for 3 months
yeah,
thing.
exactly, yeah.
So I never actually play online ever. So that's actually not an influencer for me, and not something I thought about last week. But yeah, for people who are already got 10 people with Xboxes, or they've got 10 people with PS5s, that's where they're going to go.
And again, plus as well, PC, the cross-platform thing with Xbox.
Yeah,
If you do buy a game, but if you buy a game on the Xbox and you get it on your PC for free now as well,
that's it. That's a
and
huge
cross-platform as well, it's a huge thing. Because
that was the question last week: is why would you want to get an Xbox if you got a gaming PC?
there's different things like. See, me personally, because I've always been a PC gamer, I hate gaming on PC now because there's that many cheaters. I know that if I go on an Xbox, it's a plain level field. Everyone's on the same level, everyone's got the same graphics. Everyone sees the game in exactly the same way. If you go on a PC and you've got a really bad PC or an old graphics driver or an old graphics card, and someone's got the best thing, the people who have got more money to spend on equipment are going to be better at the game. But if you're an Xbox and everyone has the same Xbox, it's level. You can't complain.
True. Yeah, and
The
that's
console game is
But most games though, say like if you're playing, I remember playing Gears of War 5, and if you're playing on PC, and say if you're playing a team deathmatch game, you could not be in a game with other people that are playing on the console. So if you're playing on PC and they're playing on the Xbox One, then you couldn't be actually matched. So that there are things to combat.
Yeah, I think it was PvP, so player versus player. You had to be on the same console, but if you're doing PvE, the player versus environment, you can team up with each other.
Yeah.
Makes sense, really, because again, I wouldn't want to go against someone with a keyboard and mouse, so they'll get destroyed.
But most games are, like you said, most games don't do that though. Most, some games that are cross-platform, you have a mixture of, I think Gears of War 5 and I think it was like Gears of War 4. That's probably the only games I can remember actually doing something like that, where they just like said, "Well, we need to get this game, this base of gamers, and have them competing against each other. They can't compete like all over the place because it would just be unfair." But yeah. Anyway, that brings me to my question. So there's been news recently about The Last of Us 2, the story being leaked. And there's been a lot of backlash because Sony reportedly, or Naughty Dog, has gone after people discussing the leak on YouTube. And they've been actually copyright striking channels and trying to take down the content. Do you actually think that's right for Sony or Naughty Dog to protect their content from being leaked online? Or should they actually be a little bit more relaxed and just, it's public domain now, it's out there in the web, they should just really let it be and just release the game like they're planning to do in the next few months?
Well, it depends. It depends how they're talking about it. If they're talking about like what the actual engine is or what the actual leak spoke about, yeah, I'd be annoyed and I'd say copyright it. But if you're generally talking about what happened and as the subject and not releasing any information about the leak, you should be absolutely fine. Because again, if you're looking forward to a film and literally a couple of days before you go see it and someone leaks the ending, you're going to be furious. But if someone's talking about, there's a leak, watch out, don't click on anything, letting people know, then you'd be all right, wouldn't you? It is their property as well. I know it's a hard one.
It's mixed signals going out because they're reporting that there are actually YouTube channels getting copyright strikes just talking about the leak has been leaked. The story has been leaked online, but it's difficult because then you got a lot of people now that they're saying, I'm not going to play the game, I'm not going to discuss the game anymore because this is just this is disgusting by Sony or Naughty Dog, and it's getting quite heated, and a lot of people are not happy with Sony. But I can understand why they're trying to protect their their game. Because if you're a developer and you've been working on this game for years and years, and then for someone to leak the game story and people are trashing it online, they're trying to protect their image, they're trying to protect their franchise, they're trying to protect the sales.
The way copyright strikes on YouTube has worked in the past is really terrible. And the way that these big companies can abuse it is terrible and is wrong and is abuse of the system. However, YouTubers, people like us or any other YouTube channel like us flagrantly flout copyright laws constantly on YouTube. And we're not just talking about posting music to YouTube. It includes reading books, showing images, even showing album art for say Michael Jackson. That is, if you do not have permission, or if it's not covered by fair use, that is copyright abuse. So, and that includes video games. Most live stream game streams, whatever you call them, a lot of them are against copyright. Now, some more modern games in their terms of service allow live streaming, but some don't. Some feel like if you were to stream a movie over YouTube, you'd expect for that YouTube video to be pulled down. Some game publishers feel that way about their game being played on Twitch or YouTube, and you can argue till you're blue in the face whether you playing the game is transformative or not. That answer will probably depend on what game you're playing, because something like Minecraft is very easy to be transformative, but if you're playing Grand Theft Auto, that's not very transformative because you're typically following, well, you've got cutscenes and you've got scripted dialogue and you're following a job to do in the game. But when it comes to things like game leaks, well, technically it is their IP. If you are, now you see, it's like, can you talk about the plot of a movie as copyright or not? How close can you get to the movie before it's transformative or fair use or whatever? And that's the problem with talking about the leak. Like, we're not going to say anything close enough to the leak. In fact, I know nothing of the leak because I refuse to read it. I haven't actually finished The Last of Us 1 yet. I'm playing it now. I'm just really crap at it.
It's really good.
Yeah, I'm stuck. I'm stuck at a certain point, and I've not gotten past it. But that's, I'm playing it, so I'm not going to read the leaks. But if you discuss the leak and you discuss the storyline, you should be able to do that on YouTube. But if you are going into explicit detail, if the leak includes images and you show those images or audio clips or anything like that, I mean, then you're screwed. They got every right to go after you. But I don't know. Copyright on YouTube, Twitch, it's difficult. I would highly recommend, and I will link this below, a fantastic video by Tom Scott about copyright on YouTube and how for years it has been flagrantly sort of ignored by people. It is called Copyright Not Intended, because you'll quite often see a video has been uploaded and it says, I do not upload the copyright belongs to Sony, copyright infringement not intended, and they think that that's enough boilerplate to get around the fact that they're uploading something illegally. But it's a brilliant breakdown of how copyright, specifically in the place of YouTube, sort of works, and how they've sort of worked out a way of working with music companies and movie companies to that's where Content ID comes from. And it's why you can now post a music video or have music playing in the background and you don't have to have that bit silenced or the video removed. They'll just put an ad on it and give that a portion of the video's revenue stream to Sony or Vivo or whoever, and they've kind of gone around that. So I'd recommend watching that video. It is, however, 40 minutes long, but it goes a bit through the history. It goes through a bit of the legal stuff behind it, and it is very interesting to realise just how bad YouTubers have been in the past, and also how good we now have it as well. That is more wider copyright stuff, but it's difficult because like Barry was saying, they want to protect their sales. Like, they don't want to protect the story from the fans. They don't. Some like Naughty Dog probably do care, but Sony and parent companies, they just. I'm not so cynical, but they just, at the end of the day, they want people to buy the game, and if you're like me, I'm quite spoiler averse, and I might not buy a game because of it, or I might wait 5 years until I've forgotten what the spoiler was. So I can see why they'd be quite aggressive. Maybe they're being so aggressive to try and shut it down. The sooner they can get rid of it, the sooner people are going to forget about it. And then when the game comes out in 3 months, they can play it more cleaner.
They actually brought it forward because of this leak, the actual game release as well. Because they actually postponed it because of the coronavirus to the later this year, but they've actually brought it forward because of this leak. So it's kind of, if you're excited to play the game, then in a few months you'll be able to play it. Hopefully it's not been spoiled for you and you can play it. And hopefully this all just dies down and people can just get on and play the games. I have one more question, and this is regards to Steam and Epic Game Store. I've always used Steam to purchase my games on my gaming PC, but lately, with the use of Epic Game Store, there's a lot of games I've actually managed to get for free off them themselves, off their launcher.
And we all know how much Tommy likes things for free.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
love free stuff. Why is there so much hate for Epic Game Store when they're giving out free games? Why do people insist that they must have games on Steam?
But then again, it's exactly the same as the PS4 or PS5 or Xbox situation. It's, again, I've built my library of PC games up to Steam. I've spent probably thousands of pounds on my games on my PC. Buying that many games, and I don't want to be going in between different accounts. It's bad enough going in between Steam and Ubisoft or something. I'd rather have it all in one place. And for an end user, I've never had any problems with Steam. It's only the publishers and the companies that are having issues because they're taking a big chunk of money off them out there.
Well, it looks like Epic Game Store are buying a lot of exclusive, timed exclusive rights, like Borderlands 3, Shenmue 3.
Yeah, but then again, that's not what the fans and the players want. Again, I've got every Borderlands in my Steam account with all the DLC, and I didn't buy it just because I couldn't have it all together. Luckily, I can now because it's out on Steam. But it's one of the things again. Steam, Valve, they had their foot in the market at first, so therefore everyone's on that, and they've got the monopoly out of everyone in the world. But it just seems annoying when people put stuff on a thing and say, "Oh, it's only coming out on Epic" or anything like that.
Have you bought a game from the Epic Game Store because you just couldn't wait for the Steam version?
No. I think the only reason why I'd had an Epic account is when Fortnite first came out, when it had literally had zombies in it.
Mm.
When it was the first release, I had an Epic account for that one reason, and then I've never bought anything with it since.
Because Fortnite's not on Steam, is it? You can only get it on.
Yeah, no.
What about you, Josh?
I'm just looking through. I think I have 3 game launchers. Well, no, I only installed 2 of them. I have Steam, obviously, and I have, because of GTA 5, I now have the Rockstar launcher.
Yeah.
Because that was force installed when Red Dead 2 came out. And then the other one, and I am so sorry about this, I have the Origin installer because I love SimCity and I've been really enjoying Sims 4. And so much so that I have actually spent probably about 60 quid on different expansion packs and that for The Sims 4. But because, like you said, Tommy, I got Sims 4 for free because they gave it out, and I think that's the reason I signed up to Origin, was because Sims 4, Theme Hospital, SimCity 3000 were all released for free over a space of a week, like one each day. So I've got them all within Origin and Sims 4. I hate that I have to have Origins installed to play the games, and it's really frustrating. But yeah, I'm sorry. Sorry, not sorry. I enjoy those games.
But then again, I think it's one of those things as well. You know, the only reason why I've got Orange and Steam, is stuff from back in the day. Because when I started playing Battlefield 2 on PC and using GameSpy and everything, you know, and same as Counter-Strike and that lot, everything went through GameSpy, so you kind of knew what games you were playing. But then as soon as that disappeared, they started bringing out their own launchers. So again, it's just the thing of what games you've been playing since day one, and you've spread onto them. There might be a game on Epic I probably will buy in the future, but it's just a monopoly. I've had Battlefield 2 from day one, so therefore I got Origin, and I've had Counter-Strike since day one, so that's why I got Steam.
Well, it's the opposite of a monopoly, though, isn't it? That's so. In one sense, it's a good thing. We got 5 different launchers, but that it's only that if if the games are all available on all of them. Otherwise, it's still a monopoly. You've just got to have 5 monopolies installed on your computer.
Well, I was looking at like Epic Games Store, and I noticed, I was looking at it today, the game launcher, and I had like 10 games on there, and about 3 of them I already own on the Xbox One. Not actually purchasing the games through Xbox Gold. So most of the games that they've given out, I've actually got on another launcher on the Xbox. So yeah, it is kind of annoying. You have all these different launchers, and you have to remember your email and your passwords. And
no, you don't. Tell me, Tommy. Tell me you have a password manager.
No.
He just uses the same password and the same email address for everything he has.
Yeah, I'm amazed. I'm amazed I couldn't get into your Minecraft account the other day.
I don't even know the password. That's another thing. Like Minecraft, that's not on anything, is it? That's not on Steam, is it?
Well, that's because it's indie, isn't it?
It's on Microsoft.
Well, that's because Microsoft own them now.
But when I bought it many years ago, I would not know my username and password.
What I don't know is why every time I go to Minecraft.net, it auto takes me to the French website. And I have to manually put in ENUS to get to an English one.
Oh, I don't know. Don't know, mate. Don't know. But I think for me, though, I think looking at the Epic Games Store, I think that's the only real competition to Steam, though. If you know what I mean, like
it is. It's a competition to Steam because of the developers.
Because they're buying developers.
Yeah, and plus they're saying like if you put our game on every sale you get, you'll get 80%, we get 30%. Like on Steam, I think it's ridiculous the amount of money the developers get. Steam get more, and it's one of those things. You've got the player base on Steam.
I heard some rumours the other day about Apple potentially buying Steam to compete, so that buying Valve, so that because Apple now have a gaming subscription, and then talking about once Apple go to ARM-based Macs, they'll be able to make proper GPUs for a MacBook or whatever, so that you can actually play. So you can play good games on it without having to spend like $5,000.
But then again, didn't Valve and Steam just stop VR compatibility?
Well, so no, the story with that is Mac have dropped 32-bit compatibility, so most games that are for Mac will, if it's a 32-bit game on Mac, it will no longer run in the current version of macOS. And given that no one has made a new game for macOS in the last sort of decade, most Mac games are 32-bit. I think there's one F1 game that came out 2 years ago on Metal that runs quite well, but there's not many new games that use the GPU, because obviously Minecraft is a Java game, so it runs, but there's not many apart from the now iOS-ified games that you can get from Apple Arcade, which they're not the same level of game, are they? They're not.
No.
They're just mobile games.
Well, long live King Gaben, anyway. So
yeah, the company's not public, so they can't just buy it. So
yeah.
have to,
but then again, they are changing big time now. You know, since Half-Life Alyx came out.
Oh no! Here we go.
What?
Are you going to get that? Are you? You've
got it. I've started. I've been playing.
Oh really? Any good?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good because they've made it's the first VR game basically publicly available what is actually compatible for anyone. No matter who you are and how much VR you've played or how motion sickness you get, they've done it so everyone can play it. You can even sit in a chair and then like just jump around. It's works so much better.
But then they're saying, oh, if you have a Valve Index, the game is worse because they made it work on an Oculus. So I don't know what it is. They've downgraded the game for compatibility across all platforms.
Yeah.
Which means if you have got the really good fancy stuff, you've kind of overpaid in a way.
Well, you can change in the settings because again, I tried it where you try to push forward to walk, and straight away it just makes you feel ill. I've got it so it jumps in a certain way, and I get really motor sickness, and I started playing this like jumping method way, and it's amazing. You can literally sit in a chair and play it as well. It's amazing.
Is that like warping?
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Oh,
yeah, it warps in such a certain way that it doesn't make you feel ill. You don't go, oh, I've moved 10 meters instantly. It's absolutely fine. It's actually quite good.
Uses what's it called? Occlusion and
yeah, something like
and all that blurring stuff, isn't
it?
Yeah.
But yeah, they're doing a real good job.
I was playing Resident Evil 7 on VR. I've been playing it with the controller, and the bit with the woman with her knife and she starts trying to stab you, and I'm like, oh no, please don't touch me.
Do you know what? I should get that clip of you playing VR at the university. Do you remember that?
Oh, see, I remember playing it. That was the second dev kit, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was before.
What was it called? DXT or something?
Yeah, it was something. Yeah, I know what you mean. There, yeah.
It was the Oculus before the Oculus existed.
Yeah, it was terrible.
It was terrible. Well, it was about PS4 VR because I played a PS4 VR, and from memory, it's only a little bit less resolution than that.
Yeah, it's not very good.
But one of the we're talking like 2014. Let's be fair. But one of the students had made, if you remember from Windows 98 Millennium Edition and XP, there was a screensaver, which was where it was going down the corridor and it always went left whenever there was a gap. Do you remember the screensaver?
Yeah.
And then it would hit some things and it would turn upside down. A student had basically made that game in VR, but with horror things in it. And we didn't tell Tommy, but we knew there was a jump scare coming up. And I think it was Tommy's first experience of a jump scare in VR.
Yeah, I was like, oh.
We may have caught that on camera. Yeah.
It was pretty good, though. Like, if the graphics weren't very good for the time, of course, but, university student to get the AI and get, like, the physics and stuff, movement, and it's very impressive.
Yeah, and even at the time, the official stuff wasn't that great. Do you remember, Barry, that I think the one we did was in...
It was like a pirate ship in the sky or something.
Oh, no, I did the cottage one, where you were sort of like in someone's cottage. Do you remember that one?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think yeah. Because I remember putting the headset on and the quality was so bad, it just made you feel ill.
Yeah. But I did know, when I played it, I did notice that even though the resolution was really low, I could tell that the frame rate was really good and the input lag was quite low. And I could tell even then, and I didn't know about the whole 90 FPS sort of thing back then, but even then I could tell that was more important than resolution.
Oh, yeah, definitely, yeah.
Yeah. And I'm not a smart person.
I still want to play Alien Isolation in VR.
I couldn't do that.
I would love that.
No.
Someone made a mod for it, I think, on PC. So I would love to do that.
You can play Half-Life Alyx with a mod, keyboard and mouse.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Someone has actually done that?
Yeah.
So can I now play Half-Life Alyx?
Yep, you can, yeah.
What? Yeah, but so it's not in VR then?
No, you just basically, there's just like two hands in front of you, and you can just pick things up with it with a keyboard and mouse. So you can play the whole game with a keyboard and mouse and get it finished.
But could you imagine if you had like the PlayStation Move controllers, hook them up to your telly, and just play the game without the whole VR? I mean, I could do the whole thing with my triple monitor setup at the moment. You know, that'd be good. That'd be good enough for me. You know, and for people...
the thing is, though, you don't technically need VR. You can just have your controllers to your hands, and then just have something on your head to track when you move, looking up left and right.
Yeah. You could have like feet controllers to move forward, and no, that's a bit too much.
It's actually funny because I actually watched Ready Player One for the first time yesterday. And
that's an amazing film.
I still haven't seen it. Sorry.
Okay, I will say, read the book.
Read the book. Yeah, that's why I've not watched it.
Because the amount of references they do in the book
much more.
Is so much better. And then they change them all in the film for, like, you know, and they put Iron Giant in it.
Or should I watch the film and then read the book? That might be a better experience.
No.
Have you read the book, Tommy?
I got the Ready Player One as an audiobook. It was amazing.
Yeah.
It was Will Wheaton who was actually reading it, so it was quite cool, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
The guy from Star Trek?
Yeah.
The only thing I enjoyed in the film was the Shining. The Shining scene.
Sorry, in what?
In the film, Ready Player One, they actually go to the Shining, so they actually go to They actually go to the Overlook Hotel.
Oh yes, it does. Yeah.
And I was like, and then they do the scene where the blood is coming out the lift. Yeah, and I was like, there's no way that this is a 12. There is, and they have the dolls, and they have the creepy lady in the old lady in the bathtub.
Yeah. See, again, like the film's so much different because, like, the first Easter egg is on that racetrack, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, and like in the book, it's like Dungeons and Dragons, and it's so much better. Like,
oh, I don't know, man.
Yeah, I know it's all about copyright, isn't it? What they can put into the film.
Yeah, I don't know. It's probably vision as well. Like how easy is it? And I don't know, because Spielberg directed it, didn't he?
Yeah.
But it was okay. It was good. I enjoyed it, but I wouldn't say it's amazing or anything. It was okay. I think the references to other films and iconic characters and stuff was neat. But I kind of enjoyed the parts in which they had to figure out where the next. Oh
yeah, it's a good little investigation thing. I do like that.
Where the next.
But then again, I do enjoy games where I've got Easter eggs and like that as well. You know.
Yeah, no.
Can't go wrong with a good Easter egg in the game.
I love the Easter egg in Vice City. It is literally an Easter egg.
Well, obviously, did you? I don't know if you guys keep up with like Easter eggs and stuff, but there's an Easter egg which was being found out after 16 years. Futurama.
Oh, what?
I heard about it the other day. Yeah.
The Futurama game. It was, I think, originally on PS2.
Yeah.
And there was people knew that there was basically a giant Easter egg behind this wall, but no one knew how to open it. literally, probably like maybe 2 months ago, someone finally figured it out after like 16 years. It's ridiculous.
Okay, that's not what I thought you were going to say.
Yeah, it doesn't give you anything.
But that's the best thing about Easter eggs, you know, is that they're not supposed to give you anything. It's just it's just a reference or a bit of fun.
It's just like, well done.
In San Andreas, there's the Easter egg where it's you go to the Golden Gate Bridge, and it tells you like how many people worked on it. It took them 14 days, and it takes up 27 megabytes on disk or something. It's really good.
That will conclude today's podcast. Join us next time for more topics and discussions.